What's up, dude? Let's get into today's case. So there have been a few more developments in the Elliot Blair case. So if you guys just need a little bit of a refresher, Elliot and Kim Blair were a couple that were vacationing in Mexico, and they're both attorneys. They live in California. But they just took a nice little vacation to Mexico, and Elliot Blair had apparently fallen from the balcony right outside their room and landed face down on the concrete below and had sadly passed away. Now, since the initial story came out, there have been a few more developments. There were a lot of questions about his death, just some things not really adding up. So today we are going to be able to go just a little bit more in depth about what maybe potentially happened. I kind of like giving, after I've reported on a story that's new and fresh and happening, I do like to give it, a few months to develop a little bit more, because otherwise I'm sure I could come back almost every day with one tiny little update for you. But it's just better if we can give it some time to happen and for things to come out, for there to be more research into the case, and then just kind of give you a bigger update months later. Now, today probably will be a shorter video, but it's still very interesting, and I think that you guys will find it to be very, honestly, frustrating. So let's get into it. A private secondary autopsy was done on Elliot in the US, and the report showed that he suffered from more than 40 fractures on his head, mostly at the back of his skull and on the left side of his face. Remember, he landed face down on the concrete. It's obvious to us and to the experts we have spoken to that this is foul play. Case Barnett, who is the Blair family's attorney, told the Post, "It's either he fell to his knees for some reason or he got hit and dragged." One of our experts told us that it's likely that more than one man did this if you look at the damage to Elliot's head. Elliot's family said that when his body was found, the right side of his face was on the concrete, but the fractures were on the back of his head and on the left side of his face, not the right. A coroner in the state of Baja California, Mexico, concluded that Elliot's case was an aggravated homicide. Elliot's wife Kim said that she and Elliot left the Splash Baja restaurant and bar around 7 p.m. and they were shaken down by two policemen in a squad truck. One of the policemen claimed that they were being stopped for not making a complete stop at an intersection and demanded cash. Initially, Kim and Elliot said that they didn't have it. So now, I've also heard of this happening, that authorities in other countries will shake you down for money, they'll take bribes willingly. Very strange idea coming from the States. That just doesn't really happen here. So I don't know. The officer asked us where we were staying and what we were doing in Rosarito, Kim said. Elliot told him we were on vacation. He asked us again for cash. At that point, Elliot pulled out his Orange County Public Defender's badge. Elliot looked at him sternly and said, "Look, we're attorneys and we're not going to play these games. We will do this the right way. Take us to the station and I will pay you with a credit card and you can give me a receipt," which I really think is a smart way to go about this. But the officer just kept demanding cash, so Kim and Elliot gave them what they had in their wallets, which was about $160. He turned back towards us and said, "Okay, that's fine," and we breathed a sigh of relief. Kim added, "We thought, thank God they didn't pull us out of the car and they didn't do anything more." The whole interaction took about 10 minutes. I'm sure that felt like the longest 10 minutes ever. Then they went back to their hotel room around 11:45 p.m. and Kim went to bed. Roughly 2 hours later, the hotel staff woke her up and told her about Elliot falling off the balcony and passing away. Dr. Rami Hashish, who is a biomechanics and injury expert hired by the Blair family, said that the injuries found on Elliot's body didn't appear to be accidental. "I think it's relatively clear that the injury patterns just simply don't add up with one another," Hashish said. "There's bruising marks on the body. There's indications of potentially being dragged on the front of the body. There's fractures to the back of the skull. Nothing really points to the fact that it was necessarily an accident." The family has not gotten a police report back from the Mexican authorities. The US State Department wrote an email that says it does not investigate crimes or potential crimes against US citizens abroad. When a US citizen dies overseas, local authorities are responsible for determining the cause of death and for any possible investigation, a State Department official had written. The family's investigators have been trying to get the hotel surveillance video and more law enforcement reports. They just unfortunately have not been very successful in getting those things, but ultimately it just seems like they're trying to figure out what happened and to prosecute whoever might have done this to Elliot. So that's kind of where the case is at the moment. Again, this is one I just haven't heard much more about since it had initially happened. I hope it does get more coverage coming up because, I mean, this could get very interesting seeing what happens. But as of right now, this is all we have. So that is my video for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will be back tomorrow with another True Crime Courier video. Bye, guys.